Hi, this is Jeremy Moskowitz, founder of PolicyPak Software, and in this video demonstration, I'm going to show you how PolicyPak can use group policy to configure Thinapp apps. So let me show you what I've got here on my target machine. I'm just logged on as some regular guy. And if I go to the control panel and I go to uninstall a program here, I just want to show you that we have very little running on this machine. I just have the PolicyPak client-side extension and absolutely no other applications installed. And if I were to try to connect to a network share that might have something like Acrobat Reader here and run the bin of that, and I'll go ahead and click that here, you can see that Thinapp application is launching on the bottom right real fast, and the application will run. Now that it's running, the trick is, how can you use group policy to manage the important settings in this application? You might pre-bake them into the application, but then there's absolutely nothing preventing a user from unchecking check marks like this or like that, and just doing things that they really shouldn't do, for instance. If they have admin rights, they can click on install automatic updates and all sorts of things you don't want them to do. So what we're going to show you is a couple of applications in a row and how to use group policy with PolicyPak in order to configure that. So what we're going to do next is for all of our eSales users, we're going to create a GPO and link it here, and we'll call this Acrobat with group policy and Thinapp. And we'll right click over this and we'll click edit here. So we'll go dive down under user side, policies, PolicyPak applications, and we'll go to new application and we'll pick PolicyPak for Acrobat Reader X. So we've got over 35 pre-configured applications packs ready to go, and Acrobat Reader is one of them, and you can create your own using the PolicyPak Design Studio and manage any Thinapp application. But for now, for JavaScript, we want to make sure that this Enable Acrobat JavaScript checkbox is in fact unchecked. And while we're here, we're going to go the extra mile. PolicyPak is a superpower where we can right-click over and disable the corresponding control in the target application. So we're going to literally gray it out so a user can't work around the setting. For security enhanced, we want to make sure that enhanced security is in fact enforced on. So we're going to right click over that guy and also disable it. So we've checked it, and underline means we're going to deliver a checkbox. And for updater, maybe we made a mistake inside our package and we have it set to automatically install updates. We can guarantee it and dictate do not download or install updates automatically. And once again, we can right click over it and disable or hide the corresponding control in the target application. So we've locked and loaded our directives inside group policy land, and let's go ahead and before we rerun Acrobat Reader, we're going to run GP update, and we're going to get the latest greatest group policy settings from Active Directory. So we've loaded our directive inside of Active Directory, and with a GP update, we're downloading those directives. The very next time we go to run Acrobat Reader, the Thinapp app, something special is going to happen, and we're going to call PolicyPak automatically. You can see that Acrobat Reader is running right here. And the next time the user goes to edit preferences inside Acrobat Reader, let's go right to JavaScript, check it out. We've unchecked the checkbox just like we wanted to, and we've grayed out the settings so the user can't work around the setting. This is not some magical version of Acrobat Reader. It's the version that you get, that I get, but we, PolicyPak, have the ability to dictate the settings and restrict the UI control. So we'll dive down under Security Enhanced. Boom, we've checked that checkbox here. And if we go to Updater, we've also, again, set the proper setting and guaranteed it to lock it down. So just like that. Let's go over another example real fast. So here in my little Thinapps directory, I also have Winzip. So let's go ahead and run Winzip really fast. So just to prove a point here. So go ahead and run Winzip. Boom, there's the Thinapp version. It's doing its thing. Gosh, I don't want any of that stuff. If I go to Options Config, you can see I've got all these settings for a user to possibly mess up inside their Thinapp app. And so what we're going to do is we're going to use group policy to dictate those settings. We'll go ahead and create a new group policy object here, and we'll call this Winzip settings. And again, I want to stress that even though PolicyPak has pre-configured packs for these common applications, you can build your own using our Design Studio. So no matter what your Thinapp app is, custom or common, you can immediately and very quickly create an application settings directive using PolicyPak. So we're going to dictate all 4 checkboxes here. We'll jam this guy up to 11. And while we're here, we're going to right click and disable the corresponding control in the target application. So we'll once again restrict this setting so it can't be worked around. And we'll also right-click over and we'll hide this one and we'll disable this other one. So we're doing some magic over there. For cameras, we can lock out the entire cameras tab. So we'll disable the whole tab in the target application. We'll literally remove the ability for the user to manipulate that. So let's go back over to our application here, and let's go ahead and run GP update and see what happens here. So we're getting the latest, greatest directives, and once this is done, let's go ahead and run Winzip and see what has in fact occurred. So go ahead, run Winzip here. You can see Winzip launching there. And of course, we don't want to be asked that. Of course, you can configure this using PolicyPak. I just didn't choose to do that. Now, if we go to Options Config, let's see what occurred here. Now, notice how the UI lockout occurred. We said to lock out the cameras tab. We said to hide a setting and disable a setting. But if you remember, I said to set minimum password length up to 11. And I also checked all 4 of those checkboxes. Well, why didn't that occur? Well, the thing about Thinapp applications is that they run in their own sandbox. Now, the good news about PolicyPak is that we can get into the sandbox if you let us. So I just want to show you exactly what you would do for your own applications if they are already Thinapped and what you're going to do. So it turns out that all you're going to do is take an existing little VB file. So there it is. This is the extent of the modifications. You're going to take this little VB file that's going to execute the process called ppupdatew, that's our command, /thinapp. And what this does is it says, go ahead and read the group policy settings that we've already staged using GP update and then bring them into the virtual sandbox. Now, I did that for the other application. I did that for Acrobat Reader just to prove a point. And I didn't do it for Winzip also to prove a point. So I'm just showing you what you're going to have to do in your Thinapp application. So we're going to copy ppvbs into the Winzip 14 directory. And this is my Thinapp directory here. Once that's in there, and you can see it's listed right there as pp.vbs, that's all you got to do. At this stage now, you just rerun your build.bat. Again, this is standard practice for creating Thinapp packages. If you have ever created Thinapp packages, you've done this before. It's super simple. And we're done. That Thinapp application is got the little boost it needs right there, ppvbs, to pick up the PolicyPak secret sauce. So let's go ahead and run. We actually don't even need to run GP update, but we'll go ahead and do it anyway just for fun. We'll run GP update here. And now the very next time we run Winzip, Winzip is going to run that little, the Winzip Thinapp version is going to run that little pp.vbs file that's going to call our secret sauce. And now the next time we run Winzip, we're going to see the settings baked right into Winzip, right like that. So if a user goes and they do things they shouldn't do, is that the end of the world? No. Well, let's go ahead and see what happens if we rerun Winzip. What happens? We go to Options, Config. Okay, boom, it just puts it right back. So we can dictate those settings to the application no matter what that application is. So if it's registry based, if it's file based, you see I've got a bunch of applications here to play with. I've got Firefox and OpenOffice or Acrobat or Winzip. No matter what the application is, if you've ever said to yourself that you wanted to dictate the settings into the application using group policy and optionally lock it down, well, we can now do it using PolicyPak for Thinapp applications. Okay, we also do it for Microsoft Application Virtualization and also for XenApp from Citrix as well. So there are other demonstrations on the website that show that, but I wanted to show you here for Thinapp. That's it for now. If you have any questions, we do have a section on this in our manual, and we're also happy to field questions as you need to. Thanks so much for watching, and talk to you soon.